Okay, so because we can't keep on waiting, anybody fall behind can join next class is on already. So okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and dig in class 6. So change management.
I think you said you would talk about traceability metrics first.
Okay, that's a good idea. So traceability matrix is something you guys have to do. It's one of the document. I think I have uploaded it in your class. Let me quick look. It was class 4. Yeah, requirement traceability matrix. So traceability matrix is nothing but you just have to put your URS, FRS, and test together in one document. So somebody can go and look at it. Where did you test each and every piece of requirement? So that requirement is, so as any document, you have purpose, scope. These are all, very standard. The purpose of the requirement traceability matrix to document the correlation of the user functional design configuration requirement of the system, and thereafter refer to the system to test the script included in related installation, operation, and SOP. So where have you tested these? So your specs is one side and your test is one side. Where did you perform those? That's all you have to connect together. So it's a very simple document, but it's must required. It's not used to be required document in regulated industry, but here he comes, Avinash. Where have you been, man?
Morning, sir.
Good morning. दसैँ तिहार सिद्धिया छैन?
सकिसक्यो सर।
दसैँ त सिद्नु पर्ने अब। ढिलो हुनुहोस्, सुतिराख्नु भएको थियो? Us, no problem. Okay, so first you're gonna list your specs, URS, FRS, if you have design, if you have, and then what is your IQ, OQ, PQ, what all the documents you have created. So remember the system name, system acronyms, and then, so this document number, it will be given to you by doc control in the company, which company you go. But right now you can pretend like 1, 2, 3, 4, or, SPC means specifications, and EPRO means test, test which you're gonna perform. So those things you're gonna put it together as a document number, document title, and acronyms. And then what you're going to do is, these are standard. You can just leave it as is. You don't need to do anything. And this is where the whole thing works. So your URS, URS description, FRS, and where did you test it? Did you test it in OQ? Did you test it in PQ? Did you test it in IQ? Did you test it in SOP? Some you can refer it to SOP, like backup and restore, disaster recovery. If you have not tested it, then you can refer it to SOP. And that's all you need from this point. Okay, so this is what the document is. It's a very simple document. You're going to create, you're going to put all your URS here, number wise, then description, just copy and paste from your URS, then give the FRS number. You don't need to give FRS description here because that's not important. The important is, where did you test it? So in OQ, I have test 1. You can also write a step number here. TST1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Is that clear? Any question here?
Oh,
Very
can I
simple.
ask- Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, Sonika, open this. Open your video, beautiful. Krista, where have you been, girl? Partying too much.
Sorry, can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I can hear you. You're partying
Okay,
too
good.
much.
I was getting my
Nepalese
stuff
people
set up
are-
and I was having problems this morning because I'm not at my
Nepalese
little
people are
space.
spoiling you. Because, you know, you don't think that only Americans party hard. We Nepalese people party hard too.
Oh, I know.
One long month of party, never ending party. Sorry, Sonika. Yes, look at you. You look so beautiful.
Yeah, I have to come in the middle of the function. I have to attend function and I have to come and go back after this class.
Oh my
So
God.
that's
Are you
Um,
doing Karva Chauth too?
No, it's a winning ceremony. It's rice feeding ceremony for my
Oh,
friend's
okay.
daughter. Yeah.
No problem. Go ahead.
Early.
Okay, so I saw
But that's
that
good
you have,
that you came so we could look at your beauty as well.
okay, thank you. But that's all cause of makeup. Anyone can look beautiful with makeup, even you guys too. Right, Krista?
Really? I don't think so. Abbas is
Makeup
not
is-
doing any makeup. Look at him. He's so handsome.
Yeah, yeah.
Me too.
Yes, Arjun is
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, I saw in the document that you have listed URS and FRS in two different rows. So in practical, is there any situation, because when we do this project, we combine URS and FRS, right?
Yes.
So in
So
real
in that
life,
case, very good observation. Yeah. So in that case, you can just combine, right, URS. This is template, remember. So in template, it gives you, if you have URS, write down the URS number, title, and if you have FRS, if you have IQ, OQ, PQ, for example, some people combine OQ and PQ. So then you don't need to have a separate, you can get rid of that line. So if I want to get rid of this line, I'm just gonna go here and delete cell and delete entire row. That's it, and you're
so
done.
there will be.
So
there will
whatever
be-
document you have, you're just gonna list here, and that's what you're gonna make traceability to. So, URS, FRS, but here you have to give FRS number. And then where did you test it? In OQ, PQ, IQ, SOP, where it is tested.
So in what case we make different URS?
In a complex system, in a custom system, in a configurable system, you should have separate URS and FRS. In court system, you may combine. Depends on the complexity of the system.
Hmm.
Remember, if it's a complex system, you have 2000 URS, FRS, then of course you need to have a separate document. You cannot combine everything together. But if you have a simple system and you guys, some of you have just written like 50, 60 URS, then you can combine FRS with it. You don't need one extra document. So FDA is not not going to force you to have these. Anytime, any situation, you can combine these documents, these 10 documents. Some document in remediation, you're going to see some company combine IQ, OQ, PQ all together in one document. You don't have IQ separate, OQ separate, PQ separate. But in some, you're going to have a combined separate, all those documents. So again, depends on the nature of the system, complexity of the system, quantity of the system, interfaces of the system. So that will be decided when you do validation plan. And that will be the next class when I'll explain you on what situations you can combine those documents. Make sense?
Thank you.
Sure. Any other question, concern? Any doubt here in traceability matrix? Did you guys get it? See, FDA wants you to test each and every requirement, every specification. So that's why they ask you list all your specs and tell me where did you test it.
So we have to mention all of our URS here, right?
That's correct. All of your URS, all of your FRS, and where all did you test it? Now,
But the FRS
sometimes you
is
might have tested same requirement multiple times,
Okay.
multiple places. You don't need to keep on writing multiple places. As long as you said you tested at one place, good enough. So if you tested in OQ, your PQ may be an A, IQ may be an A, SOP may be an A.
Yeah.
Even in OQ, you might have tested in test case 1, test case 3, test case 4, same requirement. You just have to mention at one place that you have tested each and every requirement. That's all they are looking for.
Is there any reason why that IQ is left blank instead of NA?
No, it's just, I might have forgot.
Okay.
I can write it down. When I give examples, I do it sometimes. So,
So okay. Yeah.
so list your documents, your specs and your test here, and then do the traceability between specs and test. Clear? Any confusion?
No.
Girja ji, Awaz ji, Ishwar ji, you guys are smart. You know, you get it in one go. All right, so let's move to another one now. That is your traceability matrix, and that is done. So I will be looking for your traceability matrix document as well. Okay. Now let's go to, just give me a second, my coffee is here. Okay. So we are going to talk about change, computerized system change management. Can anybody tell me in your word, what do you understand about change management? Why do we need change management? What is the importance of change management? Why do we need to manage the change? Anything, just tell me your thoughts. Share it with me. What do you understand?
Properly record and justify the changes that are needed in the document or procedure and keep a record of it.
Okay, very good. Anybody else wants to say something? So yeah, change is, so change here needs to be managed. So in regulated industry, once your system is in production, your system is going to be locked. Now, nobody can go and just change it. You know, in a commercial side, people keep on changing, updating their document systems, you know, again and again. Anytime they want, they can go, they can update their website, you know, anything, you know. I have seen restaurant websites when they They had, okay, it opens 8:30, and all of a sudden they go and they change it. Oh, now it opens 11 o'clock. In regulated industry, you cannot go and just change your system just like that. Everything has to be going through change management, because these systems are controlled, locked, and even admin or cannot go and change these systems because it has impact. Am I right? These systems have impact, and that's why these systems are GXP system. These are GMP, GCP, GLP systems, and it has impact on patient safety, data integrity, product quality. So these systems, you cannot just go and do anything you want. It is controlled, and you have to show the control. Now, system needs to be changed because it's evolving. Every time things needs to change. Nothing can stay permanent forever. Am I right? So for that purpose, we have to go and change the system. Now, there is a way to change the system, how we can change the system. And that's what we're gonna study today.
It's about change or updating the system.
All same thing. Very
Same.
good.
Updating.
Very good. Yeah. Even if you want to update. Now, change can be various types. You have minor change, you have major change, you want to add some major thing into it. So all those things can come into the picture. Okay, so we're going to talk about those things now, that how the change can happen and how we need to do the change. Okay, so in this workshop, you will learn what to include and level of detail when completing, change description and justification, assessments for impact, change completion and closeout, how to create an emergency change. So there are various things in here. Just give me a second. Yeah, so in order to do the change, first thing they have to do is they have to do the change request. You want to do some change. Now, as a human, if we want to do some change, we don't have to send request to the God. God, I want to do some changes in myself. Can you allow me to change? My nose is small, my eyes are, a little bit, I want to make it a bigger eye. Maybe I want to change the color of my hair. I want to become a natural blonde. Those changes, you don't have to communicate with the God, but here, if you need to change in your system, you have to first write the change request. Change request is what all you want to change in your system, what exactly you want to change in your system. And then there is a work, there has to be assessment that, all these changes, what may affect to the current state of the system. Some changes are major, so if you're changing your hair color, that's not a major change. But if you're going for plastic surgery, it is a major change. You need to talk about impact, what impact it can happen in your body or in your look or in your, appearance or things like that. So same way in the system, if you're doing minor change, it's minor change, no worry. But if it's a major change, what can be impact on the change or with the change? So those things needs to be assessed in this industry. And of course, you're not going to do these things. It's a work of validation lead. Once you become a validation lead, that these are the things you will be doing. But right now, mostly you're going to be do IQ, OQ, PQ, writing them and executing them. But if you know this, how it works, it's good for you, you know, and plus you understand how these things happens in the back end. Plus, who knows? In fact, I was surprised some of my students became validation lead after my class. That was like really, really exciting. So why not, you know, understand these things? So there are assessments of impact, then change completion and close out, how to finish, complete the change and close out. Everything has to be, you know, in the process, documented. That's the validation engineer work. Everything needs to be written, documented. Nothing can happen just like that in this industry. Everything is accountable for. Each and every piece of thing you write has to be accountable for. And then how to create an emergency change. Sometimes there are systems need emergency change. So there is a way to do emergency change as well. So these are the things we will be learning today. Any question, any concern, any confusion? No, is that clear? Crystal clear? Okay. So change description and justification, that's what you need to write first thing when you do change request. Assessment for impact, change completion, emergency change exercise, you know, and then, you know, you can try to write one change request if you want to, and that will be kind of, you know, extra thing to do. It's not required homework for now for you guys, but if somebody wants to do it, be my guest, I will review your document. Okay, so at least one time you do, you learn how it is done. Okay, change description and justification. First thing you write, change description and justification. So in change description and justification, three things. What is the current state? Means pre-change. A high-level description of the change and how the change will be accomplished. Example, making configuration change, code changes, adding a new module, what and how. All these information you will have to give. That what are the things you are going to change? And then future state. After the change, how it will look, you know, what it will be. You know, so these three things you need to write in a change description. And you have to think through it. Can you write all of these things? No, you have to talk to your business manager, business owner, you have to talk to your system manager, and they will give you the verbiage. They will help you to understand what is the current state and what they're trying to change in the system. It's very simple, am I right? It's like all these things are common sense. I mean, if you just write one time, you will know what it is. So what is my current state and what will be changing? I mean, how much change will happen and then what will be the future state? That's what your change description is. And this is what you need to write. So in interview, if somebody asks you, have you done any change request? What did you do? So you're gonna have to say, I did change description. You know, I wrote a change description, then they may ask you, what did you write in change description? How did you write change description? So this is what you write. You write first current state of the system, then you write what you are going to propose change. What is your proposed change? And then what will be the future state after the change? So this is your change description, and that's it. It's very simple. But once you write it one time, you will have to think about it. But once you write one time, it's a piece of cake again. You keep on eating all your life. It's repetition, same thing again and again. So nothing to be worried about. Change description example, you know, so current state, you see company XYZ, product information, database, GPID is a new company, XYZ application being implemented, and there is no access request, process created for the GPID application roles in IDM. So this is how you write, this is your current state, that, you know, right now in my company, in this system, in this application, I don't have access request process, you know. So this is what we need to change. systems are changing all the time, so you don't need to be worried about. Then what is your proposed change? So then it will say that, okay, this will be broadened on IDM Enterprise Core Framework of self. So these technical things your system manager will give. What will be the proposed change? It's not you have to come up with, your system manager or your system admin will tell you what is the proposed change for this change. If if this is the state and this is what they're trying to change. So what all they will be doing technically to do this change, and that is your proposed change. And then you say future change. So future state is the end user will be able to use IDM to request access for roles in GPID application. Once it is done, then they can be able to request access for separate roles in that application, in that system. This is how you write change.
I have a quick question. Like to do this change description, is there any industry standard template or just a regular document that you?
There is an industry standard, template. Mostly sometimes, I mean, lately they've been doing this with TrackWise.
Okay.
There will be system where you go and create a change request. But some companies, small companies, they still have paperwork. In paper, you have to write it down, like document. Like, there is a template and Microsoft Word template, and you go and write it down, each and everything,
Right.
and then get it approved. Route it through something and then get it approved. That's all. It's that simple. Okay. So, so this is how it is. This is example of TrackWise system where you have description of change to write, and this is how you write current state, proposed change, future state. That's it. Okay, this is example of TrackWise. Then change justification. Why is the change being made? What is the justification for change? So next is you have to give justification. Why do you want to change? Why I want to change my nodes. Am I right, Krista? So justification. What is your justification? So there may be justification for each change. So in one change request, you can have more than one change. Like you can have multiple changes. So if you write 5 changes, then you have to give justification for each changes. So simple. In some cases, one valid reason is sufficient. In some cases, you have 4 changes to make, but then you can give one valid reason why I'm changing it. And that's it. That's very simple. What is the expected benefit for the proposed change? Like example, improved user experience can be valid reason for change. So one of the reason you can say, I want to improve user experience. That's why I'm doing some changes in these features or functionality, which can make it better, easy to use, user friendly. Am I right? So that's why you need to do this, why you're doing this change. It is not rewording the change description. So don't just copy and paste from the change description. You have to give the reason, justification, why you are changing it. Okay. So some of the justification examples, what do we want to do this? What does it do for us? Like, mean and range profile charting is currently being performed manually and is the time consuming and labor intensive process. These can be the reason. Some examples, the stability team has requested automation for this chart generation. Creating this functionality will improve system usability. These are some examples you can write. Also, sometimes you can write the reason because of the kappa. This change is response to kappa, ER 99999. So you have to give reason. Oh, this change we are doing because kappa. Kappa means corrective action and preventive action. So I will walk you guys through a Kappa, after the class, basically, because Kappa, you're not going to become a Kappa engineer, but you need to be aware that sometimes Kappa, because of the Kappa, you do changes in the system. So if you understand Kappa, it is better for you to understand the whole cycle. You can connect the dots. So those are the region. So this is one of the region also you're doing the change. So begin your own change management record, like review the case study, open the G-Track, and then scroll the change description section, draft description in description of the change window, scroll to justification for change window, draft the justification in the, this is how, if you have a track-wise access, then you're gonna go and you say, hey, I'm trying to create a change request, and that's how it will open up the whole document for you, and then you start filling in there, very simple. So review description of change. So say for this is one example, current state, proposed change, future state. So current state. So for example, in your level printer, what can you change? Can somebody think of what you can add as a feature? Just tell me some example. So you build up your system already. Your system is in production. Your printing is happening now. Now you need to do some change. What possibly you can change? Just give me one reason, one thing. Just think of.
Changing the database could be one of those.
That's right. Yes.
Database. So we could probably, as instead of making like a login and user ID and password, we could probably use one of those employee ID.
That's correct.
Just to swipe it
That's correct.
and make it faster.
That's correct. Can be various change you can make after even the system is up and running, working. And those are the things you have to write it down that, hey, I need to do some changes in this system. And you saw what is the description of change, then justification of the change. What is the justification you are giving for the change? And then there will be impact. And this is one of the examples for justification for the change. And then change classification determination. So now you have to determine the classification. How technically complex is the change? How much impact would it have on GXP business process? Be mindful of picking critical. That is only when it is really. So you have to choose the classification, minor, major, critical. You always don't choose critical, because unless it is critical, because the moment you put critical, it is reportable to FDA. Then everything starts like timeline and everything. If it's a minor change, FDA don't care. Oh, go ahead, do your change. I don't care. If it's a major change, they say, okay, I could have a look, but it's okay. I trust you guys, go ahead. But when you say critical change, that's when its antenna is raised. Now they're gonna pay attention that how you are going to do the change. So they will be looking after you. So don't pick and choose critical all the time, and that gives you kind of hard line. So now you have impact assessment. So who does impact assessment? Your valid, your system manager, your business owner, all those, and your QA. They will be doing, regulatory, general product, computer system assessment, EHS assessment, all kind of assessment they have to do. That, the change, where it's gonna affect, how it's gonna affect. Is it, what kind of things it's gonna affect into current validated state of the system. Understood? Is that clear for you guys? Any confusion here? Okay, so kind of, assessment impact, you are gonna have to see risk assessment, document impact, training impact, validation impact, equipment system impact, include impact to sites as applicable. So now think of that your system is validated. Am I right? You have validated the system, you have created validation plan, you have a specification, you have risk, you have IQ, OQ, PQ, you have executed that, you have written the summary report. Now your system is up and running. You have said that, okay, system is validated, go ahead and use it. Now you are going to do the change. Am I right? So now you have to think this change, how it's going to impact the current state of validation. So for example, if you are adding new requirements, user requirements, so that means now you have to go and revise your URS, current URS. Am I right? If you revise your URS, that might revise your FRS. If you revise your URS, FRS, that might revise your RRA. Now you have to come up with new IQ, OQ, PQ. So all those impacts you have to think about, and then you have to write it down that, hey, this change, and most of you guys might be working in the change because, it's a continuous happening into those big systems. So, and it's always every 3 months, 2 months, you see new change request and you're working on that cycle. And then you have to create another IQ, OQ, PQ, or you can combine IQ, OQ, PQ, and then, that change again, you have to validate. Is that clear? Any question, any confusion here? So you have to go through each and every section. What is my risk assessment impact? What is my document impact? What is my training impact? Do I have to train the user again? So if you are doing minor change, you may not have to train your user. But if you are doing any major change or critical change, you may have to do training again to the user. Am I right? So if you go and change your system, you have to train your user that, hey, now we have did the change. So, based on that, you have to use it this way now. Before you used to use this way. So all those things you have to record it in that change request form. Okay. For example, risk assessment, if you have any changes you are making, and if you're adding requirement, or if you're adding any, for example, interface, it might change your SLR or RRA. SLR you have not studied yet, which you're going to understand in the last class. But RRA you have done, so you understand how this RRA works. So the moment you add requirement, now you have to complete your risk as well. Am I right? So can you connect the dot now, everything, how it works? Can you guys see how this cycle works? Okay, very good. So this is how, risk assessment example. This is how in a risk, it will be section risk assessment requirement report required, yes or no. If you say no, then you have to give the region. If you say yes, then how you're going to do it. So all these things you're going to see in the system, and you have to fill up these things. Okay. Then document impact, what all the document it will be impacted, what will be the current version, and then when you are done with the change, what will be the new version. So if it's right now your URS is version 10, after this change, your URS gonna be version 11. Am I right? The revision gonna change. So everything is rev control, revision control, version control. Each documents are entity. Everything is controlled. So you cannot go and just change your document. You have to go again with add new requirements, route it for review, route it for approval, and then in the system from 10 to it becomes 11. So now your 11 is effective document. 10 is superseded. 10 is the old one. 11 is the new one. So you have to make sure that you use the most current rev of the system. And that's how it works. Okay, so documentation impact, yes, what all the documents will be impacted, you have to list it here, and That's it. And what is the revision of current revision? And after the change, what will be the revision? This is what you need to do. Review document impacts. This is how it can be written. So this training impact, you know, if you have training impact, yes or no. Training impact, yes. Then how you have to say how you are going to, you have to say your plan, how you're going to train your user, you know, with this new change. And that's what you need to explain here, you know, writing it in a simple word. You don't need, you know, big English professor, you know, kind of. Krista can just write it in 5 minutes. You know, just like that. Oh, okay, I'm going to do the training to the user, you know, because we're doing some changes. You know, it's very simple. So you don't need like a very complicated English here, just simple words, just write it down that you are going to train your user with this change, because this change is kind of a little bit more than minor. So we need to let user know that we have done some changes in the system. Now this functionality, you use it this way. That's all you have to talk about it. So you need to talk here as a plan. What will be the validation impact? That's where you have to talk about, you know, what will be the validation impact? Do you need to test and verify change mitigates the risk, regression testing, vendor supplied documentation or testing, qualification testing? What kind of testing you need to do in order to, does it gonna affect any 21 CFR Part 11 or Annex 11? All these things you have to talk in validation impact. Again, these things are not your job to start with, but see how this is done, you know. And if you start with the validation lead, which I don't recommend, then you have to write it down. Because if you start with validation lead, you're gonna eat my brain. Because I'm not teaching you for validation lead right now. It happens, some of my students, you know, all of a sudden they went and they become validation lead, and they started asking a question. I said, hey, but I didn't teach you for validation lead. You have to pay more for that. But if you become one, don't be worried. Go for it. You know, I'm there to help you guys out. So validation impact, what to include. These are the verbiage. You're going to write it down, and that's about it. So validation impact, yes, this is how it's written. Okay. Draft validation impact for your change, you know, this is just an homework. Validation impact review, this is how you can write it down. Some examples, you guys can read through it. Verbiage, because I was, you know, I'm giving you some examples how it is written, basically. Now, equipment system impact. If there is an equipment or system, then you have to write it down. What are the, you know, equipment and system impact? You know, equipment name or ID. You have to write it down. What is the, what all the equipments it will be affected by this change. So those things you have to write it down. Okay. If it's no, then NA. Don't be worried. You don't need to give any explanation here. Okay. Product assessment. If there is a product involved, then you have to do product assessment. But in this case, you guys are becoming CSV, computer system validation engineer. So don't be worried about it. You're not going to deal with product. Okay. Computer system assessment, you know, that's when you have to write it down that, you know, who consult with change control team, BPO system manager to assess the 4 components of computer system assessment: system functionality, system security, data integrity, and integration interfaces. Does it gonna affect any of these? If yes, then you have things to do, am I right? So all these changes you have to understand and work through it. Computer system assessment, this is how system functionality impact. If it is, then how it's going to impact. You're going to have new URS, new FRS. Those are the things you have to write it down. Does system security have any impact? Are you going to do any extra security for new change? If those things are there, then you have to write it down here. So these are the things, computer system security, data integrity impact. If you have any data integrity impact on these, you have to write it down. So you see, any change you want to make, it's not piece of cake. It takes a lot of documentation to fill, and it has to be reviewed and approved before you can go and do the change in the system. Okay, integration, interface impact. These are the things. This is how you write interface and integration impact. So these are all kind of standard verbiage. You can read through it in your own time if you have time. If not, then don't worry about it. Keep this document for your reference for future, just in case you might need it. All you need right now to focus on your IQ, OQ, and PQ seriously. But these things good to have for your career, because once you're in, you're gonna stick to this career for rest of your life, because it's gonna pay you bread, butter, and cherry on the cake. So you want to know these are the things you need to know in future. Computer system assessment review, this is one example. System security impacted, you have to write it down, something like this. Data integrity impact, there is another example. Integration interface, yes, then this is the example, so these things. Now, change completion. After you do, and your change request is approved, now you go and do the change. After change is done, then you have to validate the change. Now you have to come back and complete this change request, because there will be section left for you to complete after the change is done. So if there is a cancellation, you have to give the reason for that. You cannot just leave it open. You understand? Change completion summary. If the change is completed, you have to give change completion summary. Executed to plan and justification. Effectiveness check and justification. Sometimes the change has to have effectiveness check. And those are the things you have to write it down. You see what all these validation engineers are doing, making so much money. This is what they are doing continuously, filling up all these documents and doing all these things. But this is what your bread and butter is. You have to fill and complete all this. So let's look at a couple of things to pay attention. Canceling a change management record. Cancel before the change proposal is approved. Try to cancel it. Cancel and approve change control prior to implementation. Cancel a change initiated due to a deviation or kappa. And there are certain things you have to follow. So, if you cancel the change after its approval, there is things to do. And those are the things you need to understand. No worry. Change completion, you have to write summary, address all implemented steps and include the date completed, the task lead owner completing the task, any document ID number and revisions, document approval, effective date, reference to any attachments, reference to any deviation, kappa that were included in the description. So this is how you have to write the summary, summarize the change after you complete the change. Unless you summarize and this will be reviewed and approved, your change is not completed. So every CR, change request, in the end, you have to go and close it. You have to do the closure. Unless you do the closure, it's not closed. It will be stay open, and that is a serious matter. So you have to go and close it by summarizing it. Any question, any concern? Are you guys can relate these things, how it is done? Yeah, okay. So change completion summary example, this is how it is written. You guys can read through these verbiage. Again, these are just example I have given you guys. Change completion was the change executed to the plan, provide justification, detailing any departures from the plan and their impact on the change. So if anything is not according to the plan, then you have to write down more, more explanation that, what happened and what it will do. Will it affect the current status of the, of the validated state? So all those things you have to be writing. Validation leads are doing these jobs behind the back. Whether any risk were introduced, whether any new risk was introduced, while you did the change. So all these things you have to, whether the change was implemented successfully, this is what you need to write. Yes, it was implemented successfully, everything went well, we are good to go. Okay. Change completion was change executed to plan. If it's no, then you have to give the whole justification that, why it was not implemented to the plan. And if it's, it can affect anything. Hello, Chaitanya.
Hi, sir. Sorry for the late.
No problem. Are you also doing Karva Chauth?
Means? I didn't understand.
Okay. There is an Indian festival, Karva Chauth.
Oh, Karva Chauth. No, it's not for Hyderabad people. It's not for Telugu people.
Oh, it's not for Telugu people. Okay.
Yeah.
State by state, I think it's more in North India. Am I right?
Yes, it's more in North. Yes.
More. Or maybe Rajasthan.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we're talking about change request, and sorry you have missed, but you can always revise in your video.
Yeah, I'll go through the video.
Okay, all right. So change completion, what change executed to plan. If not, then you have to give justification why it is not according to plan, and what it will be, impact. Can we accept the change? If it's not according to plan, sometimes you can just cancel the change. You don't need to be worried about it. So those things can happen. These are some of the verbiage. It's written here. You guys can read through it again. If it's not what change executed to plan, if it's not, then how you can write it down. So some of the examples are here. So keep these verbiage for you guys for record. And of course, which company you're going to go, you can always look at their example, past example, that how it was written, so you can always carry those verbiage as well. Now, effectiveness check, after the change is done, effectiveness check happens mostly in medical device. Like say if you are in a medical device company and you're doing change in, say, if you're doing change in one of the device, which dialysis machine, for example. So in dialysis machine, you did some change. Now you have to check effectiveness. That, this change, is it right? Is it effective or not? In system, mostly there is no effectiveness check required. And you have to give just example that a region that, there is no effectiveness check required because we just did some functionality change, and that won't kind of need the effectiveness check. So in CSV, computer system validation, mostly it doesn't. But if you guys happen to work for medical device, then you might have to write up also effectiveness check in the change. So if you say no, you have to give the region, no and why, always. And consideration for creating effectiveness plan. So if you have effectiveness, then have, objective, what am I looking? increased accuracy, increased efficacy, increased reliability. You have to give those, detail. You have to write up those details for effectiveness check plan. And this is how this effectiveness check plan will be written. Based on that, sometimes it can go up to 6 months testing for effectiveness check. So this just to make sure that, you remember, even in medicine, you say, hey, medicine is ready to go, and now you can go and give the vaccine. But, people were saying, hey, we don't know what can be the side effect of this. Am I right? Did you do effectiveness check or not? So I'll give the vaccine to a person. I need to wait for 6 months to see if any adverse event happened. Am I right? If that adverse event happened, even after 6 months, then something was wrong. We have to go back and check again. But, the person have died, after 6 months. What went wrong? The doctor gonna do a lot of autopsy. Check it out, go through all those data. So effectiveness checks are like that. Sometimes you do the change, but you have to see, up to certain period of time that, this change, how it's going to affect to the person or to the, process or to the things that, is it right or not? And that data, they have to present to the FDA that, hey, I have done my effectiveness check in my lab. Everything looks good. Can we go now and sell our product? FDA look at the data and say, yeah, you're good to go now. Nobody died so far. So this is how the effectiveness checks are done, and it is written by plan. But again, these are validation lead job, not you as a validation engineer, but understand these process, because it's going to give you broader aspect, broader understanding of your field, of your job, how these things work. Okay. So it is a scheduled effectiveness check. Yes, how, what, how, why, all these things, 30 days, 6 months, 90 days, whatever time. Effectiveness check, yes, what, how, why, objective, measure, and rational, deliverables, acceptance criteria, that they have to write it down in effectiveness check plan. Okay. This is how it is done. This is how it is written. Some verbiage here. You guys can read through again, in your leisure time, whenever you are validation lead. Maybe at that time, you might need to look back into these and understand that, this is how it needs to be written. Okay. Effectiveness check result and summary. You have to have a data and assessment, of course. Sometimes you see, you have done the testing of effectiveness check that creates a data, and that data has to be reviewed and assessed. Am I right? That everything looks good. Effectiveness check was perfectly right. And that's how it is done. And everything has to be recorded on the paper. If it's not recorded, nothing happened. So it won't be closed. So as long as you say that I'm going to do effectiveness check, you have to create those data and come and fill up all those data here into this document. And then that's how you're going to go and close. Effectiveness check summary, some verbiage here. Again, result and summary after effectiveness check. These things you guys can read through your own. Emergency change. How it happens. Some system is behaving all of a sudden, weird. So we might have to go and do emergency change. How that emergency change happens, there are few key things you have to pay attention, and that's about it. So used in response to a system failure or imminent failure that impacts personal safety, GxP compliance, and or critical business operation, that's when we do emergency change. Pay attention to these things. Why we do emergency change? System failure or imminent failure that impacts, pay attention, personal safety, GxP compliance, or critical business operation. If anything of this happens, then we consider it as a big emergency change. Now, If it is an emergency change, initiate an emergency change and pay attention to this red. The emergency change description must be completed. Go and do the emergency change, inform your QA, and then within 24 hours, write down your description. So no matter what, within 24 hours, you have to write down your description. The emergency change description must include change being made, rationale for the emergency, date of the approval, names of the approver. So all these things you have to write it down if you did emergency change in the system. Okay, this is how it is written. Is this emergency change description? Emergency change description impact implementation. Another thing you have to pay attention is you have 5 days to get this approved after implementing. So remember these days. So within 24 hours, you have to get your description thing done, within 24 hours. And then within 5 days, you have to get it approved. Your emergency change document needs to be approved within 5 days. So that's when you are in a crunch time, you have to work extra hours, but you need to make sure that emergency change whenever comes, everybody is busy, because you have to get these documents done within a time, because then it will create a flag to FDA that, hey, you have not closed within the guideline of your timeline. So, what is going on? What's the problem? What did you guys do? Now there will be a lot of explanation to make. So you guys have to pay attention to those things, okay? Emergency change completion. The change completion must be approved within 10 days. Now understand. So everything has to be, all the documentation has to be reviewed and approved within 10 days. So also pay attention to these timeline, okay? Change classification. So classification, emergency change, non-emergency change first. What is emergency change? What is non-emergency change? How do you classify these are the classification definition. So critical, change that will have direct impact to GXP business processes, patient safety, product quality, or data integrity, or is highly complex technical change. We know this will impact, then it's a critical change. Major change that have moderate potential to adversely affect GXP business processes, patient safety, product quality, or data integrity, or is moderately complex technical change, then it's a major. Minor change that have minimal potential to adversely affect data integrity, system functionality, or system security, or is low complexity technical change, then it's a minor. So change classification you have to determine based on these definitions. Any question, any concern? Remember what I said, that be aware of the critical, because once you say critical, FDA is looking after you. As long as it's a major and minor change, they are okay. They are not after you, and you're not stick to that timeline. So those things you have to pay attention. Okay. Now, technical complexity means high complexity, like custom code, new interfaces, new database schema, data migration. All these things are involved in the change. That means it's a high complexity. If it moderate complexity is minimal custom code, update to existing interface, update to database table, new configuration, new reports, then it's moderate complexity. Low complexity, update to configuration, update to reports only, then it's a low complexity. So these are your basis of definition to to find out whether it's a critical, major, or minor. Okay. EHS impact assessment, this is only for device, so you don't need to read through it, but if you want, it's there. You can, if you're going to work for device, then you can read through that. EHS implementation plan, rollback contingency plan, these things you have to write it down. Implementation plan, you have two things. You have what are the things you are going to do, and if things goes wrong, what is your rollback contingency plan, you know, in the end. So if you do the change and it's going to create another problem, you should have rollback plan that, you know, if that in those cases, I'm just going to roll back. I'm not going to do this change. I have to go and fix it first, that, you know, it's affecting another thing. So you see, this is how it works in engineering world, that you have to make sure everything is planned. Okay, nothing is left, you know, without those assessment or thoughts or plan, which can happen all of a sudden and you're not aware of. So this is how these things work. So that's why you will have implementation plan and rollback contingency plan on the place. Okay, so implementation plan now, you know, what now you're going to write what is the activity sequence, dependency, and concurrent steps, documentation, system documentation like URS, design, all these things, creation and execution of validation documentation, rollout, use notification process for affected user documents, user training requirements. So all these things, how you're going to do it, you're not going to do it by yourself, everything. You will get help from technical people, you know, admin going to help you, system manager going to help you to understand these activities, rollback plan. They're going to give you the verbiage. You, as a validation lead, you're just going to write those verbiage here and get it done. So in a way, validation engineer job is very easy. Everything is done by others, but you have to pay attention to each and everything. Documentation is your major responsibility as a validation engineer. Okay, implementation plan also, if it's sequential execution is not required, you know, one after another, you child task. Sometimes you have a parent task and child task. So remember what I said, that, you know, some changes can have more than one changes. In that case, in one change, you can have one change is a parent change, and within that parent change, you can have multiple child tasks. So once you finish child task, your parent will be complete. Parent change will be complete. So that is one thing you have to pay attention. So, you know, you have to go one by one with parent and child relationship, and those things get a little complicated once you have multiple child and all those, but it's like not as complicated. One time you do it, it's piece of cake. You understand that, okay, for this change, I have 5 child tasks, and I need to complete and close all the 5 tasks first, one by one. If I close all the 5 tasks, my parent task is closed, ready to be closed. So this is how it's organized for change management. And that's all you have to understand for now. Okay. There is some example for, you know, implementation plan. Implementation plan is not like a separate whole document. All you do is write task 1, create this, task 2, do this, task 3, do this, task 4. So, you know, one after another, and they will, you have to work with system manager and admin. They're going to work with you of the system, and they're going to tell you that, hey, what all the things they need to do in order to complete this change. And after the change happens, then you have to go and validate it again for the change made into the system. So this is how the change management works. And then everything you write here, task by task, you have to complete one by one. And then in your closeout, you're going to write Okay, I have completed task 1, completed task 2, completed task 3, and this is how it works, the change request. Okay, so rollback contingency plan, you need to include rollback to previous version for any revised documents. So if you have to roll back, you have to roll back to everything, even documentation. So you cannot be in Rev 11 and now you have to, you already moved to a system didn't make a change because you rolled back. So you have to roll back all the documents as well, which you already did. For example, you updated your URS and now you have to go back and roll back. So it's a very tedious job as a validation engineer when it happens, but you have to do it. It takes time, to get all those things done. But hey, why you care? You're getting paid to do those things. So don't get irritated. It can happen sometimes. If it happens, no worry. I'm a validation engineer. This is what I do. I will roll back all the documents. Any question, concern? So this is what the change request is. If you guys wants to write down any change request document and see how the descriptions and impact and all these things are written, I have uploaded you, I think, a template, not in this one. I think I have uploaded you, yeah, case study summary page. So maybe you can go ahead and write it down. No, this is the case study. Let me see this one. Yeah. So this G track. So this is where you can write down some of the things, description of change, justification for change, validation impact. This will be your impact analysis. And if you want to fill up this form, be my guest. If you're not, don't be worried. This is not your homework right now. Again, this is only for the people who is looking for to become a val lead. This won't be your first things to do right now, but good to know this. Okay. You guys want any break? Anything?
Have we got these material? Not yet, right?
I think so. Let me see.
Not in the classroom yet.
It's already
It
in
is.
your class.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, you have class 6 material.
But you don't have the template.
Okay, I will upload
templates.
the template. No problem.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to take a break.
All right, let's take a break, 10 minutes, and then we come back and then we go through 21 CFR Part 11. And let me upload this material for you guys anyway. Oh no. No, what happened? Shit. Okay.
So that was me.
Yes,
As a business people आउनुहुन्छ
Hazur,
आज बिजनेसको कुरा गर्न आउने भन्दै हुनुहुन्थ्यो नि
Hazur, Hazur. On.
I might have to leave for like maybe 20-25 minutes like right now, so I got to pick up some people at the airport. They're out, so
Okay, so you still can stay on the phone, no?
yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, stick
Okay.
to the phone.
All right,
But
sounds
I'm
good.
just gonna walk you guys through 21 CFR Part 11 as well.
Yeah,
And
so they will be joining towards the end of the class.
end of the class, yeah.
Okay, I should be back then. It shouldn't take me that long.
Yeah,
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
no problem. Chaitanya, what's happening? Did you complete your IQ, OQ, PQ?
I just completed my IQ perfectly, but OQ, PQ, I'm still struggling with that. I don't know why I'm not able to complete.
Okay, so you have to talk
And
to me.
recently, the main problem is I lost that video also. So I'm not getting to see the recording also.
Okay, it should be there. I uploaded back the video.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
3 days back, I checked and it was not there. And I asked my team also.
Okay,
Maybe they
so I
are also not
uploaded
happy.
it back, yeah, this Thursday, so
Oh,
or
okay.
Friday,
Thank
so
you.
you
I'll
might
check
have
today.
it. Yeah,
I'll check today.
yeah. OQ and PQ get it done faster because at least
This
one
time
time.
I don't want to leave it, so
Yeah,
still.
don't leave it in middle of the things.
Yeah. This time I'll try somehow to do it.
Yeah. I know you have too many things going on, but you still have to find some time and get it done. Yeah. It's important.
So speaking to that,
Mhm.
I think we can able to open the discrepancy form, or like we cannot edit that, I guess.
Or you use the example one. I have given you the example.
Yeah,
Edit,
you give us the
edit the
template.
example one. Yeah.
Wait, sorry, I didn't follow.
There is two. One is example, and
Uh,
one is the form. So if you go, let me show you.
Okay.
So it was discrepancy form. So I uploaded two. One example
Mhm.
and one template. So template, if you cannot edit because it's in PDF, then use the example one, which is Microsoft Word, and you can edit that.
Yeah, I tried the Microsoft one and I couldn't edit there
This
too.
one, yeah. If you open this one, I can edit it. See, anything I can do. So let me check in your class.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I tried that, I downloaded it.
Actually, that one is not uploaded.
But it
This one
opens
is
on my
what?
but it get opens on my Amazon.
No, it
It
get
does?
opens, yeah, but you cannot edit there, I guess.
Oh,
In
I
some
didn't-
part you cannot edit.
oh,
Yeah.
Okay, let me upload it then. This one, the example one. You guys are class D. If I give you the example one, you can edit. So yeah, edit this one. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
sure. So yeah, you should have this one, so you can edit it if you want. Okay. All right, is everybody here? What a morning. It's like raining and Arjun sir, is it raining your side too? You're on mute. You're on mute. Unmute yourself. Can't hear you.
Oh, yesterday a little bit raining, but today no.
Oh, we had a lot of rain since last night. It was raining
think-
all night.
This Bakersfield is like a desert. The very rare raining here.
I know. Soon I want you to get here in Bay Area. Get the
Oh.
job and come this side.
Hopefully, I wish.
Yes, why not? Why not?
Thank you, sir. I'm thinking about it, but it is very hard to me to decide to change the location.
Yeah, it happens, but you see, the good thing in America is, we don't have like, okay, this is the house I was born. This is the house from my parents. How can I move? Those things are not there. So people in America, changes at least minimum 7 cars in their lifetime and 10 houses. That's like an average statistics. So nothing to be worried about.
Yeah, in my neighborhood, I am living here for 4 years in this apartment. But in my neighborhood, they stay over here 6 months. Some people live over here one year and they move. A lot of new people comes and go.
Oh, yeah, it happens. Yeah.
I'm looking like a permanent over here in this apartment. I
Yeah.
want to move.
Durgaji, you didn't have to go?
I didn't have to go. I'm good. Thank you.
Very good. Your
Very
wife
nice.
is going to pick them up?
No, I just didn't want to send her up because the rain is a little bit too heavy and the roads
Yeah,
are a
it's
little bit
raining,
scary.
so,
That's
yeah.
why I got another friend of mine to go.
Okay.
So we're all good.
Perfect. Are they your relatives or?
My next door neighbors and
Oh,
his parents, basically. So
okay.
it's hard to say no, right? Especially
Yeah,
when they're
that's
older
true.
people.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So Nisha, what's happening?
Everything good, sir.
Good.
Yeah, I'm having tea.
Okay, good. All right.
Did anybody watch El Clasico?
Okay, everybody here, Krista? Did you have a nice break? Where is the man of the house? You're on mute.
Yeah, he's gone. I'm in Colorado, so I'm here with
Okay.
family, but I leave to go back home tomorrow.
Okay.
So I had kind of a long night,
Oh.
but it was
Yeah.
fun.
Usually Friday, Saturday can become a long night.
Yeah, my little brother, he's here, so he just moved here. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I got him get settled in. He's 20, so he'll be 21, and
Oh,
it's his first time to move away from like Louisiana, away from my dad.
yeah.
So yeah,
Makes
it's been-
sense.
yeah.
Makes sense. Is he excited?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's
big
super
time.
excited. Yeah, he has a cute little apartment, and we've got him all settled in. So yeah, it's been fun.
Good for him. Yeah. Iswarji, are you back?
Yes, sir, I'm back.
Sandesh ji, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay. So let's look at 21 CFR Part 11, which is Code of Federal Regulation, came in 28th August 1997. So this is where they may ask you some question in your interview. 21 CFR Part 11. There are a lot of codes, part 820, part 210, part 211. Those things you guys can go through and read in FDA website. But this, they may ask you in your interview. So I'm just going to walk you guys through real quick, not too much into it. So basically, what is 21 CFR Part 11? Can anybody tell me what do you understand by it?
Yeah, I can give it a try.
Okay, go ahead.
So the 21 CFR Part 11 covers like everything about the electronic signatures, anything with the digital that can be in the form of, like the signature itself, or even the audio text, videos, anything that has been stored, used, utilized, archived by the company. So that has to be under the compliance of this 21 CFR Part 11.
Very good. So you said electronic signature, but it's not only electronic signature. Remember, electronic records and electronic signature. Record and signature. So 21 CFR Part 11, this code, Samvidhan, it's like a law, is control for electronic records and electronic signature. So when somebody talk about 21 CFR Part 11, you have to say three things: electronic record, electronic signature, and audit trail. These three things are major components of 21 CFR Part 11, and its control, how to control those things. So if you see, lately in systems, you have to have, unique username, you have to have password, which is alphanumeric, a special character, you have to keep on changing every 90 days. All those things are from Code of Federal Regulations. Code of Federal Regulations passed those controls to control these things. So that's why, 21 CFR Part 11 is very, very important. And they ask you these questions. So just give me 1 second. So I'm not going to read through each and every word. I have uploaded these. You guys can read through. So it has, subpart and, these things. Section 11.10 controls for closed system. 1130 controls for open system. Control section 1150 signature manifestation, signature record linking, and then you have subpart C. This is subpart B. Subpart C. Subpart B is for electronic record. Subpart C is for electronic signature. So in that one, 11100 is general requirements. So these are the things you don't need to remember each and every part and subpart. But when you're gonna go in the real world, you will need to do these testing if the system is 21 CFR Part 11 applicable.
I have a quick question. What does closed system and open system means?
Okay, very good. So closed open system, like Google, is open system. Closed system is only your company is allowed to use. You need to have username and password in order to use that system. Okay. So there are different law for open system and closed systems, controls basically. So the definition is person who use closed system, if you're using closed system to create, modify, maintain, or transmit electronic records, shall employ procedures and controls designed to ensure the authenticity, integrity, and when appropriate, confidentiality of electronic records, and to ensure that the signer cannot readily repudiate the signed records as not genuine. So this is the law. This is the definition of the law. That, if you create, control, maintain, modify electronic records, and in those cases, you have to have a control for that. Such procedures and controls shall include the following: validation of the systems to ensure accuracy, reliability, consistent, independent, intended performance, and the ability to discern invalid or altered records. So this is the law, and based on these, there are requirements written. So remember, I gave you guys one example of requirement in a class 1. Let me go there and show you guys. You all must have it, and if not, then I can upload it. So I gave you this user complaint module, am I right? So in this one, if you go, and these requirements are always same, it doesn't change because it's a law. So any system it applies, these are the requirements which apply. So if you go here and you see 21 CFR Part 11 technical controls, all the all the requirements are there. So here, electronic record, 21 CFR Part 11 controls. So all the requirements, section by section, it's written. And this is the only requirements. It doesn't change. For every system, it's the same requirement. So you have system, you have electronic record requirement, you have system security requirement, you have audit trail requirements, and it's all because 21 CFR Part 11. And it gives you the reference which subpart and it belongs to. Then you have electronic signature requirements, and then you have 21 CFR Part 11 administrative control requirements. So these are the requirements you need to test on those systems which is applicable for 21 CFR Part 11. Now, which systems are applicable? That's what I'm going to teach you in last class. That why it is electronic 21 CFR Part 11 applicable. And mostly when the system have electronic record, electronic signature, and audit trail enabled, that's when 21 CFR Part 11 apply. Is that clear? So every system you go, these are the requirements you have to test. So you can just read through these detail and understand. So 21 CFR Part 11, again, all these subparts you can read through yourself. Controls for closed system continued, limiting system access to authorized individuals, for example. This is, section 1110 and D, limiting system access to authorized individual. That's why you have to have username and password. Am I right? Because it's only access to authorized individual. So these things you have to test in that system. So same way, it's F, G, H, I, all these requirements are there and you can read through it. And if you don't understand any of these, you can reach out to me and I can explain you again. But it's mostly a self-explanatory requirements. And these are again law, Code of Federal Regulation, use of appropriate controls over system documentation. So all these things you have to follow through in 21 CFR Part 11. Then you have signature manifestation control. The printed name of the signer has to be there, the date and time when the signature was executed. Remember, the meaning such as review, approval, responsibility, authorship associated with the signature. So whenever you do signature, all these three things has to be there. The name of the signer, time and date, these are the law. That's why we do it that way. You understand? We don't just do it for our choice. It is enforced by law. That's why wherever you sign, you have to give these things, your name, your printed name, your date and time. When did you execute it? And who are you? What is your designation? So these things are also 21 CFR Part 11.50. And that's why we do. And these are the things we test. Same way, electronic signature 11-100, each electronic signature shall be unique to one individual and shall not reused by or reassigned to anyone else. These are the law. So if it's your signature, it has to be unique and connected to your biodata, your social security, your your passport number, everything. So, then, it's basically they can get hold of you. Whatever you sign, you remember you're passing and failing those tests. They're gonna, because it's connected to you, they can go and catch you that, hey, you passed this. So now I'm gonna come to you and can catch you. So these are the law, and that's why we do all those things as a law. Same way, 11200 electronic signature that are not based upon biometrics shall do these things, so these things you guys can read through. Controls for identification, code, password, so how you do password control. So ensuring the identification code and password issuance are periodically checked, recalled, and revised. That's why sometimes you're going to say, they're going to send you email, hey, every 90 days, you have to change your password. They will enforce you to change your password. So, if you keep using same password, somebody can take it or, catch it and you reuse it. So you must change the password to keep these secure and controlled. So these kind of requirements are there, and it's a self-explanatory. Again, you guys can read through it, and understand. And if any requirement, if you have any issue, we can always talk. So that's about 21 CFR Part 11, and these are the code of federal law, and these law has to be enforced. These are enforced in these companies, that you have to follow these 21 CFR Part 11 requirements. Okay. Any question? And it came in 20th August 1997 when everything started becoming electronic. Electronic record, electronic signature. Before, everything was on the paper. Then they started getting into electronic record, electronic signature. That's when they came up with this new law, 21 CFR Part 11. And Part 11 talk about electronic record, electronic signature, and audit trail controls.
System security or no?
System security is part of 21 CFR Part 11. Yes. Yes.
It's pretty much just anything, like she said, like security stuff.
Yeah, it's a security stuff.
Yeah.
It's a control which you need to implement in your system. It is enforced. So that's why, as a validation engineer, we need to make sure that all those controls are implemented into these systems. That's why we need to go in the system and test these requirements. Hey, are you changing password every 90 days or no? Are you doing this or no? Are your username password is unique or not? Is it connected to your biodata or not? All these things you have to test in the system.
So when you're saying that we have to test the system, so pretty much like on all of our, like our OQPQ, this would be in there, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, all these things you're gonna have to test it in OQ.
Okay, got it.
If it's a 21 CFR Part 11 applicable system, then you have to put these requirements and then test them.
Got it.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Any concern? Any question? So yeah, it is uploaded there. You guys have to make the note of 21 CFR Part 11. Remember, 21 CFR Part 11, they can ask you question in interview. Mostly they ask these questions about 21 CFR Part 11. Other CFR, they don't ask because you cannot even remember those. But 21 CFR Part 11, it's easy to remember. You have to say is it's control for electronic records, electronic signature, and audit trail. That's all. And you don't need to remember each and every subpart here. Of course, you can say, if you can remember the definition, that is good. If somebody asks you, what is 21 CFR Part 11? So you can say 21 CFR Part 11 is controlled for closed and open system. And for closed system, person who used closed system to create, modify, maintain, or transmit electronic records shall employ procedures and controls designed to ensure the authenticity, integrity, and when appropriate, the confidentiality of electronic records, and to ensure that the signer cannot. So even if you say half of it, they will understand that you understand this code of federal regulation.
Dhruv sir, CFR 21 is for open and closed system, right?
That's correct.
Open. Okay.
Yeah.
So how it is for open system? So closed
Open,
system is controlled.
yeah, open system controls are very minimum. So we don't talk as much because mostly if you will see in pharma, biotech, medical device company, every system is closed system. They don't use Google, basically. They don't use, there are some open systems, they don't use it for their purpose. So mostly they use only closed systems. And that's when they have to control these records, electronic record, electronic signature, and audit trail.
That makes sense because the controlled systems are private, pretty much, for your companies.
Yeah. So this is your 21 CFR Part 11. That takes care of that class. And now you're gonna go into last class, which is next week. And I'll be taking that class from Kathmandu, basically. Class 7, which is your validation plan and validation summary report. So I will upload these. There are so many things in here, but I'll walk you guys through how to write validation plan. Mostly, again, validation plan is done by validation lead. And but you need to understand, and you can always say, I have participated in validation plan. And you need to understand how it is written. What are the things, what are the components, what are the things needs to be done in validation plan. So that will be your next class. And it's also, I'm going to upload some of all of these documents, and then you have a template for validation plan, which will tell you what all the things you need to fill in a validation plan. So let me show you just quick. It's here. Yeah. So this will be the validation plan, where again, like every document, you write purpose, scope, definition, system overview, project roles and responsibility, regulatory impact, risk assessment, management, vendor assessment, validation approach, how you're gonna approach the validation deliverables and responsibilities, and references. So all these things you're gonna understand and write a validation plan in a team wise, but that team is gone. Now you don't have those teams anymore. So next week, maybe I'll create a new team and you guys can write it down. So it's mostly self-explanatory. It's not very complicated, but you need to understand how these things are done. What are the deliverables? Who will do what? BPA, QA roles, who does what, kind of RACI matrix, and references, and that's it. So this is the validation plan. So that will conclude your 10 documents if you are done with the validation plan. Now, I'm still waiting for all of your execution documents to review one more time. So this Thursday, again, we will, whoever can come, we will review the documents, execution basically, it's very important. If you don't know how to do IQ, OQ, PQ, then you're not a validation engineer yet. So that is a very, very important part. So finish that. Any question about execution you guys have? Any problem in execution? Ishwarji, you had that question last time you sent me an email. And yeah, so some of the things right now, we are doing it with assumption because it's not real time. So those things you can pass it for now, and you don't need to fail because you have to keep on writing the discrepancies form for no reason. So some of the execution, if you don't know where to get your screenshot, then you can ask your author, hey, I cannot find this functionality. Can you send me the screenshot? And once they send you, then you can attach it and pass it. So that's how we're going to do it for now. But in real world, you have to execute on your own and attach all the screenshot one by one. Everything will be done properly.
Okay, I got it, and I pretty much completed and submitted this one. Should receive the email.
Yeah, I saw that email, yeah, from you, basically.
I might not go next week.
If you want, I can review it, yeah, my time, or I can review it in your in class on Thursday. So, okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, so guys, just to let you know, I have been chosen to become VP and head of validation for this company, 3Analytics. So they send me, yeah. And we're gonna get this contract where the job is nationwide. And if somebody wants to go work in India, somebody wants to go work in Europe, let me know. I have job everywhere now. Vietnam, I have job for validation engineer in Singapore. I have job for validation engineer in India, in every state. Argentina, Europe. So I am going to become the VP and head of validation to all this. Wherever they are projects, they have project which they have worldwide project. So if you guys decide to go and work and learn, first job won't pay you as much, but we have now new opening where we are getting projects basically. So that's opening the door for us in a very nice way.
That's awesome, sir.
Yes.
Congratulations, Dr. Bhai.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm 3 places. You'll be surprised. Yes, I'm VP of this company, head of validation. Then I am still working for Gilead, and then I am CQV Western lead for PM Group. So I have 3 titles going on at a time. So it's a good. That's why I told you there's a lot of work in validation. You just guys have to get inside this. And pay attention. This is not very difficult. There is no coding here. There is no configuration here. You just need to be detail oriented, understand these 10 documents in and out, and you guys are good to go. So the Gilead Science, I gave up the job because it was getting too much on me. So now I'm more focused on PM Group right now. So I'm also exploring some of the CQV, which I'll be teaching also you guys. If you want to go out of CSV, I can get you in CQV, which is very hard job. All the construction they do and equipments they have to install, they have to do validation on each and every piece of equipment. Right now I have, you will see in my, like this laptop, this one from Bayer, this one from Johnson and Johnson. I have like 6 laptops I'm working with right now with different companies, and I'm helping them. So I'm
Did you
really
say
proud.
CQP?
CQV,
B.
commissioning, qualification, and validation. So CQV is a new thing which is very hot in the market right now as well. Process validation is hot in the market right now. But what you guys need to do is first put your first step inside CSV. Whatever I'm teaching you, put your first step in CSV and get inside the industry and then explore. There's so much to learn, so much to grow in this industry, so much to make. A lot of money you can make. There is no end in this industry, seriously. There is never ending thing going on, you know. And so you just saw that these guys made me VP of their company worldwide, which is I will have a lot of projects going on worldwide. So, but that's good, you know. I'm just I'm also learning every day, like you guys, you know. And I have started at one place like you guys, and you know, after 20 years being in this industry, you know, I still have so much to do, so much to learn, and as much as I can do. You know, you get tired and say, hey, okay, no problem, you know, been doing there so much, but it doesn't end, because this pharma, biotech, medical device companies, they need so much of validation, so much of work. And who's gonna do it? Exactly. Say, I am gonna do it, and more you're gonna learn, you know, more you're gonna get into it. And Sonika, Binika got opportunity for process validation, you know, and she said that, hey, I'm a CSV person, computer system validation. They said, don't be worried, we will teach you process validation. So those are your opportunities, you know. Process validation means if she run through 6 months, her salary gonna be double. That's how it works. So there is so much money to be made. You guys are on the right place, right time. You just have to get through these difficulties. There are difficulties, moments, difficulty things when you start new things. But then, you know, if you pass through that, there is so much to do in this industry, so much to learn. Okay. Any other question, concern? These guys are joining in 5 minutes, the business people. So they will be talking to you guys, how you guys, my thing will be ending after I finish next class. And then there is a business part comes where how you guys gonna get into the job now, you know, and there are some work behind it, which you guys have to get through and, you know, understand. So feel free to ask every question you guys have to these people. Again, I'm not only person in the business side. Business side is these guys running. I'm one of the partners in business, but I'm not the only partner. So, you know, feel free to ask them all the questions you guys have, how you're gonna work with them, how they're gonna work with you guys to take you to next level, to the job. After you finish the class, you all gonna get the job. So nothing to be worried about, but there are some preparations you need to do. For example, you have to have a nice, a good resume, because resume is most important part, you know. In industry, nobody knows you as a person in the beginning, but there will be time when they will know you. Like I got this offer for VP, I didn't even give interview. I didn't give any resume. I didn't give any background check. You know, those things are not required for me, because industry, after 20 years, they will know you. in a person, as a person. After 10 years, 10 of the directors will know you. They will hire you like that. They don't even take interview anymore. But in the beginning, to get your feet inside, you will need a good resume. You will need a background clearance thing done. And then you will also need some support for your first job. When you get there and put your feet inside, initially people get nervous because it's your first job and you have not done anything much like validation engineer. So those are the time when you might need some help as well. But once you're in, most of my students, 95, 98% of my students never fail. They are doing very, very good. A lot of them got full-time job, a lot of them got corp-to-corp job, but they are doing really good. A few things I would suggest you guys to have integrity. Don't just jump for the money right now. What you need to jump is to get this skill set in your hand, in your belt, in real time. And that is more important because I know all of you gonna make big, all of you gonna make money in this industry. There are a lot of money to be made, but nothing comes in one day. There is no shortcut. Understand that, I'm here because for the last 20 years, I'm in this industry. I've been working, I've been learning. There were times when I took the job, less money, so I can learn. I had a job, you will be surprised. I had a kind of government job in Genentech. I was getting paid 120K, and 3 days a week, I was going 10 o'clock and leaving 2:30. And one document I had to write in 1 month. That's all. So it was kind of more than government job and full-time job. Then I quit that job. So everybody told me, all my friends, hey, why are you quitting job for Genentech, man? This is the best company to work for. But then I said, I'm not growing. I'm not learning anything. I need to learn because I have another 15 years of my career or 20 years of my career to be. So if I'm not learning, I'm wasting my time. So I'm not going to look for the money. I'm going to look for how I can grow into it. Money will follow me. So always be in that set of mind that money will follow you. First, get your feet inside this industry, and get your feet where you can learn, where you can grow. And there's so much to grow. Again, it needs discipline. It needs integrity. It needs a lot of, how you communicate, how you carry yourself. People will know you after 5 years, 10 years in this industry. 10 of the directors will know you. They will recommend you that, hey, a lot of good job comes from recommendation in this industry. So how they're going to recommend you once they see you that you've been doing good, you are good. You are, you do your job with integrity. You know your job. All those things gonna build up in your profile. And once it builds up, then you are on your own. You don't need anybody. And still, if you need me ever in your life, I'm gonna be there because once we had this relation as a student and teacher, trust me, I love you all so much. Like my own family. That's the thing it creates in my heart. So I will never ever kind of put you down or hurt your career or anything, because more you succeed, it's my pleasure. It gives me pleasure, immense pleasure, that hey, you are succeeding, you are doing good wherever you are. So those things will be there. So next class will be the last class here. So Hasni is here. So
hey, hi guys.
So Hasni, you can go ahead, introduce yourself, and then I also want you guys to introduce yourself as well. So Hasni can know you by your face, as a person, and then she can talk about the business side of this whole thing going forward.
Hey guys, I think most of known faces are there.
Yes,
Krista.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
You
Okay.
know
Hi
How are
guys.
Krista,
you?
yeah?
I'm good.
Good
How
to
is your
see you.
health?
It's good. Good. How are
Uh,
you?
I'm good. I'm good,
It's
Krista.
good to see your
Okay.
face.
Sorry guys, it's little bit delay. We would have joined little bit early. Okay, my name is Suhasini. I am taking care of all marketing and sales and client interaction. So we have a team set up in India who is going to take care of your marketing. Once your resume is prepared, the marketing people will start sharing your resume to the bench. So I'm being in this industry almost like 15 years now, and moreover, I'm interacting with the clients. But the other team will take care of your part to part, whatever you needed, how the support's needed, it will be taken care. Though it's a weekend, my team is on leave today.
Yes.
I think one of the person will be joining late, but by the time I can just give you the intro of the things and you get an idea exactly how we work. So if you have any doubt or any question, you can just put me a question here, or you can interact with me directly. I'll share my contact information, email ID and phone number and WhatsApp number. So whenever you have a doubt, you can just reach out and interact with me. Okay. So initially, whenever I think you guys training is almost completed. So once your training is completed, we will be going, if you're comfortable to work with us, you can sign the contract. Otherwise, you can find any other vendor or consulting firm and you can market yourself, your resume. For if you want to work with us, we have a contract, a normal NDA, where there is a simple mutual understanding between the candidate and the company. So I can share you those details, the agreement also with you guys, so you can go through step by step. But I can show it here itself, so you can understand what is the contract, how it works, everything, and what all service we are giving and how the things will move, everything. It will be explained in the contract.
Yeah, I made you the co-host, so go ahead, share your screen. Guys, feel free to ask any question, anything. Again, they are the business people, and you have to be upfront. There should be no any Suhasini, make sure there should be no any hidden thing, any hidden game. Everything has to be straightforward. Again, I love these people, and the business is business, of course, I understand, but everything has to be communicated clearly. Okay.
Sure. Okay, guys. This is a consulting service agreement. Okay, when you go through these points, if you're comfortable, then only you can sign it. Okay, first we can go clause by. This is like agreement. You agree that you will be working with us on based on these conditions. And here it is like what all service we give. First of all, that candidate, we can't market your resume like that itself. We need your authority, that you're giving an authorization that yes, you can market me. I'm giving you authority. Based on that only, we will be submitting your resumes to the client. Without your authority, we can't do. It's like normally with other vendors also, it's the same thing. Without your authorization, no one can submit to the client. And that authorization letter always will be submitted to the end client that yes, this candidate came through this company for this position. So we'll take authority now itself from you guys. And rights. So you're giving the company a rights to declare that these positions and whatever the positions you're applying, your submissions will be transparency with each other, and you're giving that permission to us after reading according to the organization hiring. And there is a basic understanding, like a consultant should be agreement does not constitute as an offer. This is not an offer letter. It's just a mutual understanding between the consultant and the company. Your offer letter will come when you get selected by the client, or any vendor or from our Tridius itself, if we select, you will be getting a proper offer letter. Okay, this is just an agreement between each other. And terms. So mostly we will be doing a subcontracting. So you will be the employer Tridius. Most of we have some of the vendors we are tied up. So you will be working as a subcontractors to them, but you will be the employee of Tridius. And this agreement, we will be, once you start joining the project or anything, we will be giving you a backup, because you people are fresh to CSV, but you know theory, but I think most of them are not comfortable, have done like practical things because you didn't work in CSV. So here we will be giving a technical support also. We have few people from on-site and off-site also, offshore, who will support you to how to, if any situation comes in your project, you want to deliver, you want to write some documents. So this offshore people and on-site people will help you out in that. So there is a 3 months of backup support for you guys when you join any project with our client or a vendor. Okay. Apart from this, there is like, I always suggest whatever you get the job offer, don't think about like, oh, I want only this location, I want that location. Just grab that opportunity, because there are 1,000 people line up in that position, and you will, if you get that opportunity, I always say grab it. At least for 3 or 6 months, take that real-time experience, how exactly a CSV model of role and responsibilities were there. So it will be better for you to crack next level of interview, and you can go for good position also. Once you grab that experience, you know exactly this is what the work is going to be there, this is what, and you can demand better rates to the client. So initially I always suggest, don't think about the location, plus go ahead, that's what I can say. But some of them have restrictions, but we have few clients where demand like, yes, they need on-site, and currently the COVID situation is suppressing, so most of them are asking on-site. There is less remote. I can say 80% on-site, 20% remote has come now. So I always suggest, please go ahead, whatever the opportunity comes. And making your resume. So here you will be putting 70% of your effort to make your own resume. So we help you out in a content, we'll give a draft to you, we will give the client, we will know like how resume, final review, everything will be do. But initially you people have to work on your resume, because you people are going to give the interview there, not us. And we are not the one, if you put something in a resume and all of a sudden client will point out any technology and you're not aware of that, and you will start blinking, and that other side, the interviewer might ask, hey, it's your resume, you're not aware of it, that question will come. So we always suggest that you go ahead, prepare your resume, though we will review. All 3 types of review happens. First I will be reviewing, then Dhruv will be reviewing, and final technical people will be reviewing your resume. Then only we'll give a final resume. It's a process. So it's not a one-day game. So you have to go line by line. It's a pipeline. Okay. Once I need your previous resume, any, at least CV, I need your information. Based on that information and your education information, I can suggest you the client and location, everything. Otherwise I can't, because your visa might be, you might come in a EAD or OPT, anything. Some visas has a restrictions in locations also. OPT can't go and work multiple location immediately. He will be having a restriction, he can work with certain area and locations. So even EAD, and might be you landed to US in California, but you are currently in New Jersey, that also differs. All this history we will be needing. Based on that only We will be giving you the project and the client information, everything. So base keeping all that drafting, you have to prepare yourself that resume, put whatever your technical skills you are aware, just mention that in your resume. Don't, and try to know what currently the clients are looking. Might be you're just computer system validation guy, but the client might need a new technology version. So try to know what's current version going on. Try to know what's like in a market going on. So that makes you updated. Though you know what is computer system validation, but still keep what in current situation, the version, everything. That makes you smarter. So the client will know, oh, he knows the current version. Oh, I know, let me take him in, because he's aware of that. That gives something like X factor for you. Even if you take that knowledge in, at least you don't have work experience, you can say, hey, I have that knowledge, I can manage. That gives. And always in interview, you have to say positive tone, not a negative. Never say one word answer, never say no, I don't know. You can say like, hey, if you give me opportunity, I'm ready to do it. That gives them more attitude wise, they'll select you. Currently, one of the student, I think you people might be aware, she was like weak in CSV training, but she got in a job just because of her attitude, positive attitude. Client really like, they told, hey, I know she don't know CSV much, she's a junior, but because of her attitude, I'll hire. So currently she just got hired in one interview itself. So that's what, mostly you have to always sound positive attitude to the client interview. And even vendor calls are very important. If you don't take a vendor call, your resume never will go to the end client at all, because these people filter. Always client will not pitch directly. They give the positions to sub vendors, vendors, everyone, and these people will filter the resume. And if you won't respond to any vendor calls, these people will ignore your profile and keep it aside, and they'll take another candidate and they'll submit to the client. So you lose this opportunity. So never lose the vendor calls and vendor inquiries, because these times vendors also doing a technical screening before they submit to the client. So then final one round only the client interview will be there. So never miss all these things. And apart from that, the rate. If you're going directly to the client, if you're working with the client, you're applying yourself, position, everything, then here you don't have to pay us, like you just have to pay some 15 to 20% to us. But when it comes to the corp to corp positions, where you ask us to apply to certain clients and we will be fixing a rate, everything, here you don't have to pay us. We will be paying you on corp to corp basis. We'll hire you on W2. So we'll fix a certain like salary for you and we will be placing. So always corp to corp position will be benefit because of taxing, and so many certain areas are there which is like corp to corp is blessed. But when you go for the W2 or full-time opportunity, where for example the client is offering you $40 on W2 or full-time, so here what happens, if you minus 50% of our commission, so you will landed up only like $30 or $35 in hand. So you got in a loss. But when you come to the corp to corp, you will be getting one fixed rate that will be like 40 or 45 from our side on W2, and you don't have to pay anything. Our margin will be taking from the client. We'll say, hey, client has to pay us this much dollars. So here you will be in safe, though you're in W2 also, you will be having that safer side. You don't have to pay us anything, you'll get a fixed salary of it. And mostly we will work only on W2, all inclusive. So that is like you have to take care of your tax, everything will be fixing. And if the client rate is more, we will pay more. If client is paying us like 55, we are ready to pay you 45. If client is paying 60, we are ready to pay you 50. So we are keeping only the $10 margin based on our investments, because here we are keeping a team, everything. So we have to pay them also, their marketing, your resume is being prepared. They teach you all the technical side, helping is there. Offshore and interview preparation also is here. So all this cost will be managed. So we are just charging you $10 in that. So rest, if you guys have any questions, you can ask. I can share this contract. You people can go ahead. Anyone?
Okay, yeah, let them think about it, Suhasini. Send them this contract first. Let them read through it.
Yeah, and then if we have any question, we can always follow
And
up.
then they will have questions, so they can reach out to you. Share your contact information to them. Also, talk about that the interview prep thing. And
yes. So guys, once you sign this contract, I'll say how the step-by-step will go. Once you're comfortable with this contract, next will be the interview preparation class, which you will be joining every Sunday and Saturday evening. The classes is happening. So here you have to pay upfront 500 because we are paying to this interview preparation guides. So they are charging us hourly basis, so we have to pay them. So you have to pay upfront, but this amount will be deducted from your payments, which in your last payment, so you can, it's like a refund only. And after this process, the marketing, once you start going for interview preparation, I think so many doubts will be there. So it will be clarified by the interview people, and we will be sharing you one sample requirements also. So you know like how the requirement, exactly client requirements will be there. So you can question that to the interviewer. And apart from this, we'll be giving you a draft resume and content. So you can prepare your resume based on that. After that, the interview preparation guy will interview based on that resume. He'll check whether you are comfortable to answer mentioned skills, all you are able to comfortably answer or not. So if not, they will be like updating you on those things all. And after this, the in a resume side, marketing people and resume making people will be interacting with you guys, how the resume should look, how should be there, what client should be mentioned there, how many durations should be there, how many years of experience should be there, based on your comfort zone. Whether some people are technically sound good, so we can make higher side, but based on their birth date also it's matter, when they did completed their education also matters. So all this type of things will come with us. So once this is done, once your resume is finally done, marketing people will take your resume and they'll review. Once any new update should be done, they'll review that things all. They'll check with you and they'll ask you all the informations, because once your resume is put into the market, we should keep ready all your information, what kind of visa you are, all those informations will be needed for marketing people. So that will be explained by marketing guys when they start interacting with you guys. And mostly we are focused on contract based job only, because it's like a safer, because we get on time payment, everything. So we are a little bit be safer. So that's why we are focused only on the contractual job. And if you guys want full time, you can apply directly. And apart from this, we will be helping you on the professional reference also. The project which will be mentioned, there'll be some of the client will ask you the reference, which manager you were working in this company, and who was your team lead, how many strength was that project people were. So all these questions will be there. So that time I'll marketing people or me will be helping you out with the references. Yes, you were working with this so and so manager in this company. You can give their number, their contact information, so they'll verify that. Then your interview will get fixed. So all this will be helped by us.
Okay. Thank you, Suhasini, for explaining all those things. So guys, there are a few things I want to tell you. So just to make sure. So you don't have to sign that contract again. If you want to work independently, after you finish the class, you can take yourself into the market yourself. Some of my students have done it in the past. So it's not that you cannot do it. But if you need that help, there are people involved there, so who gonna put time and resource, and that's why there are costs associated with it. But if you can do it yourself, you don't need to go through that side. Okay. Now another thing, she explained that if you take help from these guys, you still have both way going. One, my students have got a lot of full-time job directly to the client. But full-time job, these guys cannot apply for you. You have to apply yourself because it's an illegal thing. They cannot apply for your full-time. You have to apply for yourself. So you can apply for your full-time job, and these guys will apply for you corp to corp, corporation contract job. It can go hand in hand, but once you sign this contract, even if you get full-time job, you still have to adhere the contract. Am I right? Which is, they are asking for 2 months salary divided into 9 months or whatever. The other thing is, if you choose to sign, so there is no obligation to sign and work through these guys. Again, I told you I'm part of that business, but I'm not the only partner. There are few partners who works together. But I'll be there for you guys as well, even if you work through these. But understand there are few things you need to do in order to get into the market after you finish your class, which is next week. You need a resume. Once you have the resume, so resume thing is, we don't have choice because this industry doesn't hire trained people. They hire experienced people only, because they don't want to take any risk. They have money. So they don't even want to teach you. They don't want to give you time and come and learn. So all of you have to create a resume based on what you learn, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years experience. Sure, Suhasini, yeah. So, and then, so based on that, and then you're gonna learn how to defend that, that resume. And of course, you can defend based on what I teach you. You guys can defend, and of course, we're gonna teach you more for your interview prep and all kind of stuff. Kind of tricky things, little bit how to get through into the job. So we are forced to do that. We don't have choice, and sorry to say that. It became a trend in this industry that if you are just saying I'm a newbie, mostly they don't hire. Once in a while they hire you if you say I just passed out from the university, but kind of and still for that you have to say that I have done internship for validation. So if you say internship for validation, you still have to confirm the references. But if you say I have worked 3 years, then background check comes in the first job. So background check has to be done through also these guys. They will clear your background because they're gonna give you the client name where you worked before. So this is how it works, and this is how it's been working. And again, feel free to ask.
In background verification, people will ask all the companies, they'll ask which company you worked, your pay slips, your I-9, yeah. All this which will be filled by us, and will give the proof, yes, this person was working from our side, and yes, this is his salary we were paying. So they know that. So they don't go dig deeply.
They don't dig deeper.
Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, if you go individual in full time, they will say, oh, what you did here, how much you got there, what is the thing. If your universities, you done in something in offshore in India or in Nepal, give me that university's number. All this they'll dig up too much deeply. They'll dig whether this candidate is real, genuinely or not. They'll dig too much. But when it comes to the cop to cop, there is an understanding between the vendor and us. So vendor needs a candidate, he needs money from the client. So he what is like, he'll push your profile. Hey, this candidate is good. It's a I got it from genuine vendor. So then push your profile. So it will be easy, smooth way. You people can go inside. Though a little bit pain will be there because you're a contractor, but it's like you can get inside and you can learn because the exploring area is bigger when you go there. But in a full time, it's a restriction. Like, you know, it's like, oh, you have to do only one type of job when you go for full time. Only you have to do IQ, PQ, OQ. That's it. Rest, you don't have that opportunity to explore until you go for little bit like next level of any promotion, or that time only you can. But when you come to the contract, you have that certain this thing, like you can learn more by the different people in a short span itself, because there are so many people works a contractor, they will be interacting with you and you can learn more. That's what I have learned from the previous consultant, that hey, in contract they'll ask me to do this, do that, do this. So that exploring of area will grow here in a contract.
Nevertheless, you have choice. You don't have to go through Suhasini and her team. You can you can market yourself, find the job, but if you do, I would suggest to adhere the contract, follow the integrity and work together to get into the business. Again, for me, either way, I am successful if you get the job, because, if you get the job, it means, it's adding up my skill set to teach you guys and make you successful. So I'm fine either way. They just don't have to put more effort or more resources for extra people. So this is how it's going to work. Let them know if you have any question. Your direct contact will be Suhasini and Srinivas is here.
Hey, Srinivas, can you intro yourself?
Can you go ahead and introduce yourself, Srinivas? Yeah. You're on mute, Srini.
Yeah, hi to all. This is Srinivas here. I'm your marketing person. I will help you to find the job at cop-to-cop basis. And whenever you have any doubts or anything, you are facing problem, you can reach out to me anytime.
Yes.
I will be sharing my contact details to Suhasini, and you guys can reach me anytime.
Yes. So guys, these guys are—
Don't feel like it's a weekend, it's a offline time and anything. Anytime I will be there to help you guys.
Thank you, Srini. Thank you. So these guys are very, very expert to finding the job. He's in Hyderabad. You know how everything comes from Hyderabad. They kind of rule the industry. So we have good people to help you guys out. And then Suhasini been into this industry for 15 years. He's been manager to the big companies out there in India. And thankfully, she's working with us now. But they are good people who can help you out, if you can work together and, take you to next level. And it doesn't end, it's like one job after another job, even after 4 months, 5 months, you want to change your job, you didn't like the job, they can just jump on it and find you another job as well. So whatever you need, basically, it can work together. So those are the things. So Srini will be your contact point, Suhasini will be your contact point, and then Preeti will be contact of your point. Preeti is, I think she's busy with Karva Chauth. So
no, Dhruv, she's not keeping, she's hospitalized.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she got a food poison.
Oh.
So I just spoke to her husband.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
no problem. So yeah, these guys, I mean, you will know them eventually, and then beside that, you can, if you prefer full-time, you can hand in hand, you can also apply for full-time. And we have no problem. As long as you succeed, that's good for you, good for us. But if you sign those contracts, even if you get full-time job, that is the condition that they clear your background, everything. And there is a cost associated with it. So, 2 months salary, divided. So just understand that part, because everything is a cost, time, resource, everything is a cost associated. So have that in mind and go and build your career. There is a very bright career ahead, very bright future ahead. Don't just hesitate, just get into it and get things done. Yes, Anika, you're on mute. Yeah.
Okay, so will there be any cost different if we try to apply on our own, but we still need support from them, like full time? Will
Yes.
there be any cost different?
Yeah, so that's what,
Yeah.
so you saw that flyer, am I right? So
I
if
didn't pay
you,
attention for that. So
okay.
sorry.
So there are 2-3 things here. One thing is if you gonna work with them, then what they're gonna do is they're gonna mostly do your, you're gonna sign the contract first, and then in that contract, there are 2-3 ways to go. So first thing is they're gonna help you to build your resume. Mostly they're gonna give you all the content. You have to go line by line, whatever you are comfortable, whatever you are not comfortable. Based on that, Suhasini gonna review your resume. I mean, looking at resume build is kind of a lot of time consuming. It takes a lot of time to understand your background and then put things together. Then I will review, and then we have Shankar, which is teacher assistant, who is in India. He is expert who will also guide you guys to interview preparation. So he will be reviewing your resume. Once your resume is done, if you find the full-time job, for example, you applied through LinkedIn or, through connection, if you find the full-time job, very good, go for it. But then there are some costs associated already. So, you paid for that interview prep, 500, then background clearance, whatever 2-3 job you have been done in the past, we have to clear the background, because nobody gonna hire you unless you say you have worked in a validation. Am I right? So that is upfront $1,000, but those 2 money is not extra money. Those money is from that 2 months salary you divided into 6 months or 9 months.
6 months.
Yeah,
So
6
that
months
will
or
be
9 months,
deducted from
and
there.
you deduct that from there, and you're done forever from these guys. You're free now. Second thing is, these guys are gonna market you, and they're gonna find you the job in corporation to corporation. They're gonna hire you. In that case, you don't have to pay for background check. You still pay for interview prep because we have to pay the third party. But then background check, you don't pay, and they're gonna run your payroll. You're working within that radius. So that's another thing. The third thing is, we may hire some of you, or one of you, or 2 of you directly if you are ready to travel, because we might have a project coming up. So in that case, you don't need to do anything. You don't have to pay for interview. You don't have to pay for background, because we hired you directly. So all those things, but we only can hire you once we have this confirmation of the project. So these are the 3 things, and understand it very clearly. Okay, so that's like a marketing thing, so there will be people behind you who will be working for your LinkedIn. They will be marketing for you. They will be submitting your resume day, night, left and right, because they need to succeed as well. They need to find you jobs. So they will be working for you, but then they have a salary, they have a commission associated with it. So everything is money in this corporate world. But again, you're going to make money. You want to make money as well. So, but the deal they are giving you, let me tell you one thing for sure. I have checked everywhere. I know this maybe 2000 Indian company. They are the best deal they are giving to you guys, because I made sure that, hey, they are my students. Just give them the best deal we can give, because this is not our main source of making money, but we have to cover the expenses, whatever expenses we are covering. Every business is for profit, am I right? But if
See,
you go,
any vendor, if you go, consulting firm also, if you go, everyone is working on a margin of 70-30 or 80-20.
yeah,
But here we are working 85 yours, 15 is ours.
15% margin, which is very,
So-
very reasonable margin. You know, it's
So
not a
we
lot.
less down our margin. If you go any consulting firm, if you go, hey, I want to market from your firm, they will charge you like around like, hey, you'll get only 70% of your salary and 30 I will be taking. Otherwise, if you're very good in this thing, they'll say, okay, I'll give 80, I'll take 20. So this is what going on in a trend. Yeah, because I myself started as a bench sales recruiter.
Yeah.
So I know how it was working previously.
Most of
And
the
now
Indian
also,
companies, most of the Indian companies, even they charge up to 30% for H1B people.
yes, even if you want a H1 visa or visa sponsoring, they'll say, okay, you have to pay us this amount, I'll refund. They'll say, you give me $4,000, but I will pay you as a salary when you join in the project. So it had like, he'll give $20 per hour as a salary. And that $20 of 4,000 what he got for H1, he'll add that dollar and he'll pay it.
Yeah.
So any H1, if you see, their salary will be like $25 or $20 only. So that is what the Indian vendors are going on. That is how they control the money from the candidate itself. But
Yeah.
we don't want to do
But
that.
our
kind of
purpose is
thing.
not to make money from you guys.
Here,
Our
moreover, we are making
main goal is to make money from project. That's where we are going. And we might utilize you in our project in future. So it's like a give and take relation. But no business can run without expenses, and that's what it is. So does that answer your question, Sonika? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and you guys can talk more, anytime you have any question, these kind of question, talk to Suhasini or Preeti. Srinivas will be your best person for your marketing and, sales thing he will be doing behind the back. And we have team going to grow as well. So we are opening also office in New Delhi soon. We have registered in Kathmandu, so we might have some job that part of the world. So we will be,
actually, our company has tied up with HCL right now and with L&T and a few of pharma-based small companies where we have to support them into recruitment. Bench is something else, but recruitment is whole. We have to help them in hiring themselves. So there is a whole team going to set up in New Delhi.
So that's how it's going to work. And I know it will be kind of your support system for longer period of time as well, whenever you need. At the same time, this company's build company will be for you as well, helping you guys from every aspect. That's the thing. But nevertheless, you are free and you are independent. You have no obligation. Once you're done with your class next week, you are free to market yourself, free to do your own things. If you can get some help from others too, no problem. If somebody can give you a better deal, you're free to go as well. There is no obligation that side. So feel free about it, nothing to be worried. I won't feel anything bad if you choose to be independent or, going your own way. Because for me, again, my and your relation is different. The business is something where they have to invest, they have to put effort. So that's how they work. Okay. Any question, any concern, Chaitanya?
No, sir.
Let me make you meet your a native, Srinivas. Srinivas, Chaitanya is from, are you from Hyderabad, Chaitanya?
Yeah, Vijayawada.
She's from
Yeah, hi,
Vijayawada.
Chaitanya.
Hi.
Yeah, we
I
have,
am also from Vijayawada.
Oh, okay.
he's also from Vijayawada, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so those are the things, guys. Anything else? Any question, any concern? If not, then we will conclude today's meeting.
Okay. And you're gonna send us that email or contract details after the class?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Swasti
I'll
will-
take information from Dhruv, all the
Okay.
emails of your guys, and
Yeah,
I'll send this contract. Take your time if you have
Yeah,
any.
take your
questions.
time, think through it,
Yeah.
read through your contract, whatever you're signing, but it's very simple contract. We don't need to get into that kind of level. Mostly things are based on the trust. You know, I mean, we understand each other. Hey, it has to be win-win every side, and that's about it. You know, you build your career, they build some also, you know, little money so they can keep going, they can keep growing, you know, things like that.
And how long is the like resume building, interview process, that whole timeline, like month
See,
and a
for
half?
resume building, you can say at least 4 weeks because it's not a one-day job.
Yeah.
We have to see your resume if you have anything, or at least we need your information, which education background you are into. So based on that, see if you've done anything in chemistry, biochemical, or any health related, that would be a plus point for us to make your resume. But when you're doing something out of like non biochemical or chemical this thing, so we have to little bit build up your stories here.
Right.
How you exactly came into CEVS. They'll say, hey, you're a MBA student. How you came into computer system validation. So we have to build a little bit story here. Oh, I worked in certain company. From there, I got this up. So little bit story building will be there. So we have to pull out all the information. Little bit research will be there. If your education is from Nepal, I have to find something pharma company there to show that you worked in some pharma company. That's how when you came to US, you got opportunity to work. If your education is in India, then I can show a little bit like, because our office is in India also right now, we registered. So I can show you worked in India in certain companies. So I can do your background verification clearance also.
Okay.
So that gives a little bit easier for me. So at least you can say 3 to 4 weeks.
But nevertheless,
But it depends on
sooner
new people
you
also.
start, yeah,
Right.
sooner you start, you can get into sooner.
Yeah, and even if you people spend little bit time with us, give your effort there, review your resume, you put your informations there, all that will make us little bit easier interaction. So
And
that's
faster,
what we have a group also. I'll add you in those groups and we can interact there. Any questions are there or any connections or any information we needed, we can interact there. So most of our group is in WhatsApp, so we will add you there. And we will be in like mostly working in central zone timing, Monday to Friday. So you can reach out because we have to cover up Eastern zone also and Pacific zone. So that's why we are working in a mid time. So that is like morning 9 o'clock to 5:30. Sometimes 6 o'clock will be available, central zone.
Okay. Thank you.
So you
Yes,
can reach out
Sonika.
anytime this time.
You
Yes,
done,
Sonika.
Alicia?
Go ahead,
Yes,
Sonika.
Sumita?
Okay, so I'm from management background, so that's why when you mentioned that about stories, do we get any input on those stories to elaborate to?
Yes, that's
in
what
so
the
that we
resume
can face
preparation
interview.
guy will be talking to you because we
Cool.
need a whole history of yours. How exactly you came to US? How exactly where did you done? Your birth date, because birth date also matters a lot, because any vendor wants to submit your profile, they'll ask your EAD copy and DL copy. They want to make sure you're genuinely a same guy who is going to take an interview. Photocopy they needed, and even DL copy, because your resume will be matched by your birth date. If your birthday is 1985 and you've done something like more previous thing, so it will get mismatch in resume. Oh, he did college in this time. Then how come he did? Why this gap is coming? Why this all is added here? Why did he did this? They'll put up so much questions to you. You'll get mad. Oh my God. So we have to make them smooth, tell that story, why that gap came, how you did MBA, why you went there, all that informations we have to show properly to them. So
One
that
more
will
thing.
be interacting with you.
Okay, so one more thing, maybe I can ask this in next class, but still. So what if like I'm doing full-time job right now? How it gonna impact the resume? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of scared
See,
to do the fake thing.
for full time, okay. Do you have any LinkedIn profile in your LinkedIn?
No.
No, right? Then it's good because mostly IT sector people want LinkedIn profile. They'll
Okay.
match your resume and LinkedIn and they'll say, okay, without your LinkedIn profile, they won't consider your resume also. They'll think, okay, it's a made up because these days, IT sector is so connected, networked in LinkedIn. So each managers, each recruiters, each HR, each company businessman, all are connected in IT sector through LinkedIn. If I want any candidate, I'll go search in there and I'll send, hey, I have this job opportunity. Would you be interested? So I have that open space to reach out the candidates. So that's the reason they want that LinkedIn profile. So when we create this LinkedIn profile, it shows all we put only the CSV information. So whatever you're currently working, it does not harm you unless you have to give us a time when you can pick the calls, vendor calls. Okay. Based on that, we'll tell the vendor, hey, this candidate is available in certain time. Whether she's available 2 to 4 or 3 to 5. So we'll give that certain time. They'll reach out to you on that time to talk to you and screen your resumes. So that will be like safer side. We can go ahead. Unless you are comfortable to pick the call, we are not going to share your information to any vendor or client.
So Harshni, quick question. So if you already have a LinkedIn, and because for this you need a separate LinkedIn, so the old one, the current one, we have to delete that, or?
Yes, I suggest deactivate for few days. Okay. So that shows little bit, it people will forget your informations. Okay, when you deactivate or anything, you can change little bit your name or things, and you can update the CSV in those things. So that use little bit we will help you out how to modify and show it that. So if you have any current thing also, try to deactivate once your resume is done. Because in resume, without your client information, you can't upload in LinkedIn also. And moreover, how your fake things they'll find it out by your education. In LinkedIn, if you put in education, same 2 profiles, but different skill sets, and but same university or college, they'll find it out. So just little bit you have to play safe here.
Yeah, it's a little tricky thing going on in the back, and these people, they know how to track things. So you have to be very smart about these things.
See,
and,
if you have a less contacts in a LinkedIn, they won't consider. You have to have at least 200.
also, yeah, you have to add.
If you have 100 people connection, they'll say you are a fresher. You made up your resume. In their mind, first itself, they'll strike it's a made up resume. So if you're in LinkedIn like 5+, they'll think, oh, he's in industry for a long time. He knows these people. He knows that people. Okay, fine. Because everyone knows that mutual friends or connections will be shown up in LinkedIn. So in that, if you see some common validation people are shown there, they'll think, okay, these people are connected, well-versed, connected in their industry. That's what they'll say. So they'll not go deep checking on your profile.
Okay, any other question, concern? If not, you guys have her number here. She have put her number, WhatsApp number, and also US number, her email. Srini, did you put your info as well? Can you put
not
it in
yet? I will keep it.
Yeah, can you put it in
Let me share Srini's one sec.
Can we get those information in our email rather than in this?
Yes, I'll be getting your email IDs from Dhruv. So once I
And she
get
will
that,
send you guys the contract and go through that, and then you can communicate directly. Every business matter or anything, marketing, sales, everything going forward, she will be your direct contact point. I will be out after the class is done. I will be there once in a while for your interview prep class. And, you guys gonna work together to find out the common ground.
Srinivas, can you share your WhatsApp number to
He
them?
did, yeah.
Yes,
So,
I'm doing it.
Yeah. Can you also give your WhatsApp number, Srini? Yeah, so that will help. Meanwhile, just go ahead, quick, your name. I mean, everybody's name appear here. So, Suhasini, can you recognize these people by their face? Or do they need to speak up their name and stuff?
I remember Krishna, Durga,
Okay.
Arjun, Sonika, Sonia, Chaitanya, yeah.
And you left Avas
This time
and
is less.
Arjun,
This time
my
is very
favorite
less people. What happened? Last time almost, I think 45 or 40 they were. I was so confused.
I know, this time it's not a lot, yeah. A
Having
couple
less
of
people actually works in our benefit.
Yeah, that's true. It works in your benefit because, they're gonna focus on you guys only.
Yes, because if less we can focus more with no confusions.
And their resume can be built faster as well. Everything can be
Yes,
done
yeah.
faster. Yeah. Okay, guys. So any question, concern, reach out directly, be in touch with her. I mean, again, and Preeti will be joining. She's not feeling well. Srini is there. So, record those numbers and emails there in the chat. If not, I'll be sending you also via email. Okay. All right. That's all for today. And if you have